Hello everyone. A murder trial is currently taking place at the Pretoria High Court. The former magistrate Vivian Cronje, who is a witness number 91, is on the stand. Before we can even start, can we really give credit when it's due? Mr. Interpreter is really good at what he does. He can interpret in isiZulu, isiSotho, English and Afrikaans. And can somebody tell me why State Prosecutor George Baloyi spoke Afrikaans today is always asking questions in English? We see you, George Baloyi, giving Vivian a special treatment. The witness then started testifying. She said she was asked by Mr. Du Plessis, a senior magistrate, to take the confession statement in the Vosloorus court. She then went to the room that she was prepared for to take the confession statement. Upon her arrival to that room, in the passage, she found a Metro Police officers from Ekurhuleni who were heavily armed and were moving around. And next to the door, she saw a young man handcuffed, and there was also a man that was wearing a suit next to him. She then approached Mr. Lisarang and requested all the names of the Metro Police officers that were there and said she didn't know the gentleman. Mr. Lisarang wasn't pleased about the list of names that she was requesting and said he felt intimidated by the request. She then explained to Mr. Lisarang that all the names for the Metro Police officers she's requesting, it's crucial because she will attach them to the confession statement. And the senior magistrate was also present when she was explaining to Mr. Lisarang. He then understood. She then went into the room. She took out her documents and was also given a blank pro forma document. The interpreter, the handcuffed man, the person that was accompanying the handcuffed man went into the room. When they were taking the statement, she asked the sergeant that was there that she should be provided with the names of the Metro Police who are outside the room and their appointment certificates. She was told that all the Metro Police officers have left, but she didn't check the passage to confirm if the Metro Police have left or not. Sergeant told him that there's only 2 Metro Police that will stay behind and gave her the appointment certificates, Mr. Lisarang and Mr. Jonathan. Those were the Metro Police officers that stayed behind. She then asked the sergeant to leave the room so that she can start. The people that were present in the room was herself, interpreter, the person that was handcuffed, and Mr. Mjiyako. She then spoke to the deponent in an informal way, just to make him comfortable to speak, and there was an interpreter who was translating for him in isiZulu because she was speaking in English. And the accused, Bongani Sandisontanzi, said Mr. Mjiyako was his lawyer. She then completed the form about his appearance and the mood he was in. The state prosecutor asked Vivian that who provided her with the pro forma document. She said she was given by senior magistrate Mrs. Du Plessis, and said she has taken the statements before and it's more or less than 50 confession statements. At that time when she was working, she only asked the questions that were in the pro forma form. After she completed asking all the questions, she then asked the interpreter to interpret everything to him, including his confession. She then asked him to sign all the pages of the statement. Baloyi said he received the recordings of the confession statements in the morning and he has given the defense counsels to go and listen to it overnight and suggested that they proceed before cross-examination. They'll have to listen to the recording first. Judge Rata Mokhatleng, who is presiding over the case, said they have to listen to all the recordings. He can't rule if half of information is not presented to him. Advocate Mshololo objected what was said by Baloyi and said she needs to listen to the audio now because the state just disclosed the information now and they can't allow Vivian to continue with her testimony. Judge Rata Mokhatleng said allow the witness to finish testifying and refused to listen to Advocate Mshololo's request. Then Vivian continued with her testimony. Vivian asked Ntanzi if he had injuries or had any allergies. Ntanzi said he won't comment about his health or any injuries. He then said he didn't bath since from the 16th of June, hence they took the statement on the 24th. Vivian informed him that she's a magistrate and she's not working with the police or whatsoever. He can speak freely. She also told him that he will be protected from any irregularities. The magistrate asked him if he understood what he was telling him. Ntanzi responded and said yes. After completion, the deponent said he was satisfied about what was written to the confession statement and they both signed the statement. She then confirmed that she recorded everything that happened that day, but she didn't inform all the participants that she was recording because it was for her safety. She made it clear to the deponent that she's not forced to take the statement. Ntanzi said he understands and he's not forced by anyone. He asked him if he did consume any alcohol or any drug within 24 hours. Ntanzi replied and said no. The magistrate said that Ntanzi was relaxed and maintained eye contact when he was asked questions. He then made following request. He requested to bath and asked his family to bring in his clothes so that he can change and asked to call his child. He then told Vivian that the police contacted him and asked about Senzo Meyiwa's death. He was then arrested on the 16th and saw no progress. He said he didn't understand what was going on and he was supposed to appear in court. He then appeared in court and contacted his lawyer. Vivian asked if he had any injuries. He said no, except the injuries when he was working underground when he was young, and asked if the police threatened him so that he can make the statement. He responded and said no, and said he decided on his own to make the statement. Vivian also asked him that did he expect to benefit anything from making the statement. He said no, he was not promised anything. Vivian also read him all the rules and regulations pertaining in making the statement, and Ntanzi said he understood everything and he would like to make the statement. The statement was in 6 pages. The magistrate, interpreter and Ntanzi then signed the confession statement. Vivian then stamped all the documents. She then took the document to Mrs. du Plessis. Mrs. du Plessis made copies and she was also given copies of the statement. Mr. Mngomezulu made an application to cross-examine Mr. Mboto. Judge Rata said he cannot cross-examine Mboto again because he was cross-examined by Advocate Ramosipele, who is in his team. But for fairness, he will allow 2 sets of advocates to cross-examine the witness. But there was a dispute with regards to that. But Judge Rata eventually allowed it and said he mustn't ask questions that were asked by Mr. Ramosipele. Mr. Mngomezulu again abandoned that request even though Judge Rata approved that request. Judge Rata then emphasized that the defense counsels must make sure to listen to the audio and he doesn't want excuses tomorrow since the audio is 3 hours long.
The court basis will be using it, my lord.
Yeah,
Yes.
no problem.
Yes.
What's your take on this one, people? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more news.